You don't meet a lot of Butfords. Fantastic. So thank you there. Your Cleveland Guardians are in the playoffs. They're currently on a 7-game win streak right now as well. They got their first division title in 4 years.
Correct. 2018 they won it.
2018. They were in, where were they when they were playing? They were playing, the Rangers.
The Rangers.
They swept my White Sox.
Mm-hmm.
Then they sweep the Rangers. Stephen Kwan grand slam on the top of the 8th last night. And then, of course, the White Sox lost to the Detroit Tigers. So that's what popped the Guardians there at the very top. So they're number 3 in the postseason, whatever that means. And they're having a good run.
Means they don't have a first-round bye, but they will have home field advantage for a 3-game series against likely the Mariners.
October 7th is when they'll be playing here at Progressive Field for the wild card thing. Well, I hope that they Rocktober 7th, I'm sorry. They'll take on the lowest wild card seed, so that would either be the Blue Jays, my C team, Tampa Bay Rays, or Seattle. They have had the hardest time against Seattle. So they would, if that's who they're going to play, they're really going to be playing some baseball against those guys.
The one benefit to that is those 3-game series are all home games for the higher seed. So the Guardians will be home for all 3 of those games, which helps. God, this foot microphone is driving me bananas. I'm sorry.
Would you like
very,
some,
very
you want to switch out?
Sanitation wipes?
No, I don't even know what it is. I don't know if it's...
Is it your curry that you had for lunch?
No, because it doesn't smell like curry. No, I don't know what it is, and it smells.
Going over. I want to smell it.
Do you smell it? Tell me. Does it smell like feet? Really?
It smells like something. I wouldn't say feet, but it is weird.
All right. It smells like feet to me. No, I haven't.
It's got a stench.
I don't talk into the microphone until it's showtime. So even if I have something strange for lunch, A, I brush my teeth after, but B, it's not going to get in the mic.
Is it in your lip hairs?
Is it in my lip hairs?
Is that what you're smelling?
I don't have lip hairs.
A dirty upper lip?
Give you something old.
I mean, I showered this morning, if that's what you're asking. I don't have
curry you have.
I don't have upper lip hairs.
You got stubble.
You go smell it, Mary.
I have stubble.
Smell his mouth?
Not his mouth.
Oh, microphone?
Stubble doesn't constitute upper lip hairs that would be holding on to. Smell that?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
There's something.
Yes, it's like a vinegary foot smell or something.
Yeah, vinegar is definitely what I'm getting.
Probably some friggin' board op over the weekend comes in here and is dicking around.
With his vinegar
Seriously,
breath.
I know everybody can use every studio. The only people who should be talking to this microphone are Mark Nolan and Alan Cox.
What if it is Mark
Those are the
Nolan?
only two. And Bill Squire does his show.
What if Mark Nolan had fish and chips for breakfast and he put vinegar on
Listen,
his fries?
Okay, fine. Then I'll kindly
Let's
ask
get him on the phone.
I'll kindly ask him to lay off the fish and chips for breakfast.
Crack an egg on there?
I don't know. But you can understand where
What's
I'm
in my
coming from.
throat?
It could be very distracting.
Yes, I understand.
Listen. Flight on American Airlines had their intercom hacked by someone.
How can that happen?
I don't know, but I love the clip because the people in the flight crew are like, hey, you're going to hear some weird stuff. We've got nothing to do with it. We're trying to figure it out. See, this is the kind of stuff I like. I don't like people on the ground with laser pointers in pilots' eyes. I don't want that. But if somebody's over the intercom, I assume that's just a victimless crime. This is
as long as they're not inducing panic, they're not like we're going down or anything like that. If they're just on there going like,
yeah, that's what they're doing. They're moaning and grunting and making noises.
Ladies and gentlemen, we realize there is an extremely irritating sound coming over the public announcements. The flight deck is trying to troubleshoot, trying to turn it off, so please be patient with us. We know this is a very odd anomaly and none of us are enjoying it, so we do appreciate your attention just for a few more moments so we figure out how to turn it off. Thank you.
By the way, I think odd anomaly is somewhat redundant, but okay, it's yeah, I mean, just making noises. That's better than the Southwest. That's better than the flight attendant wanting you to sing another song. Have a guy on there grunting.
Or the jokes that Mary hates.
I didn't have any jokes on flights this weekend. I did have
A really
like the
easy-
cool flight attendant who was like, "Oh, we know you here leaving from Cleveland. You guys are big drinkers," and like making
What?
fun of
Where
like
were
a
you leaving
Steelers
from?
fan. Cleveland. I was going from Cleveland to.
Oh, this was your departure from
yes,
IC.
and she was like trying to relate. I think like be jaunty and be
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, I know we're a big party people here," like that kind of thing. So,
Huh.
which is still better than.
Yeah, Mary tried this on her flight, by the way. Ladies and gentlemen, we know that some strange noises are coming through the intercom, and it's an odd anomaly, but if you can really just we'll come we'll come by with more nuts or something, and everything will probably be fine.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Imagine if he was like playing porn or something. Like it could
The
be
hell kind of porn? You mean he's making the noises, or those are the noises from the porno?
No, I'm saying imagine if he was playing like porn or something. Like
Yeah.
it sounds like him just goofing around, but he could be playing anything out of that. The fact that these things can get hacked, an entire aerial system can get hacked, scares me.
Well, everything can get hacked now.
An
Anything can get hacked.
airplane, dude.
Everything. Do you realize that airplanes are a buddy of mine was an air traffic controller at O'Hare. His dad was an air traffic controller when we were growing up. He retired some years ago, but he worked at O'Hare for like 40 years. And they're still using essentially the same equipment they were using 40 years ago. I mean, they're,
But that's scary.
it is not high tech. That's the complaint that a lot of people have, is that a lot of these, a lot of the infrastructure with a lot of these companies, they're using software, from the early 70s still.
Well, forget about people
They're like,
trying.
well, it still works. Okay.
Well, I'm just saying, forget about people trying to hijack the cockpit. If they can just like hijack it from hacking into the system, what do they need pilots for?
Listen, I guarantee you
That's scary.
that airline companies are trying to find a way to not need pilots anymore. I guarantee you that the front
No
lines
way,
of
man.
that investigation are the companies themselves. Like, how can we get by with no pilots? I guarantee you they're spending billions of dollars on finding out how they can automate intercontinental flights.
Would you want to be the first person on that flight?
Every company is trying to invest heavily in whatever technology will let them fire all their humans. What?
Would you want to be on that flight that has no pilot?
Oh, you're talking about the hypothetical automatic.
Correct.
Yes.
Like
Yeah, but as I understand it, once they're up in the air, these flights are flying themselves anyway.
Right.
I mean, the pilots aren't. With all due respect,
off
and
and
you can,
landing.
I'm sure they can tell me where I'm wrong, but a lot of it, once you're in the air, is at least computer assisted. They're not doing it by sight. So yeah, once they get up and take off and landing,
But there's just so many pretty buttons. Like you can't tell me
pretty
they,
buttons.
they don't do any. You can't tell me they don't do anything when you have a room full of buttons. Like if they didn't do anything, there would be.
They're professionals.
one
What are you,
switch.
5? They're professionals. This
you got
is
a room full of pretty buttons there.
yeah.
Are you just pressing them all the time?
Not all the time, but I know if I need to, I can.
Right,
Well,
and
that's
that's how they do it.
Yes, but it's not.
And
this
it's
isn't
their
automated.
and it's their job. So they're like, okay, I'm doing another flight. Like I'm sure the luster dulled a long time ago
Right,
for some of these people.
And your job's not automated yet.
That's right. Yet.
Yeah.
Hey, I can pick up my phones. I can do that.
You sure can, but
Yeah.
don't, please.
But don't please. He brought in we're going to do it later on. He brought in his rock trivia calendar.
Oh, nice.
We haven't done it in a long time, and we're gone this Friday. So I said, hey, bring that in. We're way behind. I mean, we haven't done it in a long time, but
Hell,
I do
we
like
can do
doing
shuffle
it.
by this point. Just like close eyes and then whatever I land on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alan Cox Show After Hours line. If you want to leave us messages there, you certainly can anytime. It's 216-986-8903.
Hey, Alan. My name's Jeff. On Monday, there was a little bit of a flub on your show. You had mentioned that one of the worst amusement parks in the country was in Hutchinson, Kansas, called Two Flags. And unfortunately, there is not, nor ever was, a amusement park in Hutchinson, Kansas. I grew up there. I moved to Cleveland in 2008, and I can assure you that there was never an amusement park in Hutchinson, Kansas called Two Flags. So unfortunately, that is false. The Kansas State Fair, however, is out of Hutchinson, Kansas. But that's about that. So just wanted to correct you. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
Thank you, pal. Unfortunately, the unfortunate part is for me because those are all jokes. I made those all up.
Two flags, six
Two
flags.
flags. I literally just threw a dart at Hutchinson, Kansas. But that's pretty wild. He's from there.
He's being nice.
I thought that the names I made up, because we were talking about how Cedar Point is out of the top rankings for the first time in a couple of decades. And I said, now the park's at the very bottom of the rankings. And then I made up 3 parks.
People can't.
One of them was two. No, that's fine. I mean, I think he was so earnest about it, though. He wasn't being crappy or anything. He's like, hey, I'm from Hutchinson. We never had a theme park called Two Flags.
Right.
I also said there was a place called Jerry's Fast Stuff Park in Satsuma, Alabama. At least he called in.
Yeah.
I haven't heard from one person from Satsuma, Alabama. And then I said Skeeter Point was in Tucker, Georgia. I thought
I'd go to all 3 of those
I would
parks.
too. I thought they were so ridiculous that people, but thank you,
Skeeter
sir.
Point.
Skeeter Point. Thank you. Listen, he's trying to. Hey, they had a shooting at Kennywood, by the way, for our Pittsburgh bureau chiefs.
Kenny Hood. More
This
like
is
it.
yeah, man, right.
There he is.
Except it's not. That's the thing. Like it couldn't be. It's West Mifflin. I mean, I guess it's adjacent, but Kennywood's a fine spot. But that's all they're talking about today. And I got to tell you, I'm getting so tired of clickbait. Not just because I feel like it used to be clickbait was a way to get you to pay attention to the story with like a kind of a turn of phrase or maybe something clever. Now they're so over the top all the time that you're just left going, this is not at all what the headline led me to believe. The headline I read was talking about a mass casualty event at a Pittsburgh theme park. That's what I saw. Now, Pittsburgh only has Kennywood. But a mass casualty event. To me, now, first of all, I had to get schooled on the fact that for a long time I thought casualty meant you were killed. Casualty just means hurt. But a mass casualty event, I understand they define mass shooting as, I think, 4 or more people shot. So there's nothing wrong with the headline. It's just, boy, that's how they get you. Because I'm sick. And I go, I love Pittsburgh, lived there for a long time. I am. And so I click on it like a jamoke. 3 people shot and wounded. And it was just an argument in the parking lot or something, right? There are so many shootings now that they're either, when you click the headline, you don't know if it's going to be a guy in a bell tower with an AK or some dudes who got into an argument in the parking lot. Teenagers with guns at Kennywood in Pittsburgh. A 39-year-old man and 2 15-year-old boys got leg wounds around 11 o'clock Saturday night in Kennywood or in the parking lot or whatever. So when I was like, oh, my God, mass casualty event, did somebody go in there and just light the place? That's awful. Right. It's terrible.
Which
Pittsburgh had to deal with that synagogue shooting just a few years ago in Squirrel Hill.
When you're in line for an amusement park, like, where could they go? When you hear that, like, oh, someone came in with an automatic and just knocked out an entire line of people.
I'd be hiding in the log jammer.
Right.
I'd be hiding behind
you're ready to go.
Yeah.
You got to get into the
I'd be hiding in the waffle fry stand. Did you say and they have the pirates?
Yeah.
Right.
I would if it happened at Cedar Point, I would definitely use the Snoopy mascot as a human shield.
Mm-hmm.
Or
I wonder how much fluff is in there.
They should make it bulletproof anyway.
Right.
Do something for me for once, Snoopy.
Right. 2
groups of teenagers were involved in an altercation in front of the Music Express ride, and shots were fired.
That ride does get people fired up.
Mm-hmm.
You got pop jams on there.
Yeah.
Goes pretty
going
fast.
in those circles, all that centrifugal force.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
They left their handgun at the scene. But the dude's wearing a black hoodie and a mask, like a COVID mask. And you're not going to think twice about that.
Yeah.
When you see people still wearing a mask, especially if they're in there for some nefarious purposes. So anyway, the Kennywood has prided themselves on their state-of-the-art weapons detection system, which I don't know which art in which state, but it sounds like it failed. They also do bag checks. Guy got a handgun in. What?
You want to talk about like clickbait articles? I read over the weekend that there was a mom having her like 20-something-year-old son's baby. It said 56-year-old mom.
She was babysitting
having her son's child. Yes, you read that right. Not clickbait. And I click on it, and it was like, okay, so the mom is the surrogate for her son. And I was like, okay, that's old, but definitely not as creepy.
But you're sick like me. You read it because you were like, oh, they did it.
Because
he left it in.
Because they got to the point where like, oh, it's too crazy. It has to be clickbait, and they made it a point to say not clickbait. Click to read article, and I'm like, okay, well, it's not clickbait.
I feel like there's nothing more clickbait than saying this isn't clickbait.
Not clickbait.
Saying it's not clickbait is the same saying I'm not racist,
but.
This is not clickbait. Do whatever you do not click on this. Don't. You're going to be disappointed.
That is gross.
At first you made her sound like a pervert, and then I was like, oh, wow. That's a mom that everyone wants. Like, that's a mom that everyone deserves. She's a surrogate for her son's child.
Yeah.
Speaking of a mom that everyone wants, did your mom have a good time Saturday?
She had a great time.
Hey, so what
She
happened, by the
loved
way?
it.
Bill and Mary were doing the Lorraine Palace Theater, and I made the suggestion that Poundcake's mom should slink off with young Bill Squire and see what happens.
I was hoping to at least get a picture with her, but they didn't have the patience to wait.
Well, it was
can't surprise you.
Well, it was a really, really long line, and we were sitting there. And
Right, but I was going to let you jump the line, man.
He would have ushered you to the front of the line.
Well, next time, because we were standing there behind you, and we were just like talking. We were meeting with some fans and stuff, and they were getting pictures, and my mom was just kind of standing there. I had to poop. My mom's
that's what it was.
No, my mom's legs were a little rickety as well.
She looked great, by the way, and I got her to do
Your mom's legs were rickety.
We had been out. I took her to lunch.
What?
We made it like a whole thing.
Was she hammered?
Got the
No, she didn't drink at all. I wish she would have.
had him turn the house lights up, and she did.
Mom,
nobody wants to go see Derek Hoff.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
You got
it's
it on
great.
video, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see Derek Hoff. We'll get the tickets.
No,
You did that live.
Yep.
She did it live. I'm sure she probably didn't know she was being recorded. She probably wouldn't have done it had she known.
I don't know if you can hear it that well because it's just like my phone in.
Yeah, she's very shy, but she was cracking me up because I go to the show and people are starting to recognize me, and she's like, How everybody know you? I'm like, what do you mean?
Does your mom live in a cave or
I'm
what?
like,
We're
how
all
I've
on the
been doing
same
this-
show.
does she not know?
And she's like,
She has people at work talking about you to her.
I know, and she was sitting there. She's like, so everyone just comes up to you and just like wants a picture. She was like so taken aback. I'm like, you've been on the Corona cruise. She's like, yeah, but like that's a show event. I'm like, this is a show event technically. And then so now,
I mean, it wasn't a show event, but it's going to be a lot of the same people coming out, right? Yeah.
And so now she's like enthralled with it all. So she's like, let me help you. So there was two ladies in front of us. In the row in front of us that wanted to take a picture with me, and she's like, "You go up there, you go. I'll take the picture."
She was directing the whole thing.
Yeah. And I'm like, "All right, well, let me get situated. Let me take my glasses off. Let me put my drink down." And she's like, "Yeah, I don't want you taking pictures with liquor in your hand." I'm like, "All right, whatever." So I set my liquor down.
You remind her you're 30.
Yeah.
And you live on your own, pay your own bills.
So I take pictures
Some
with
of them.
Some of them. So I take pictures with the ladies. And then she's like, make sure you like it. And then she backs up and she's like, oop, I think I spilled my drink. Turn around, it's my wine. And I'm like, damn it, Mom. She's like, oop, that was my bad. My bad. I'm like,
your mom is getting loose.
She was sober, stone cold sober.
But she was drunk on your celebrity.
Yeah, on just
she's definitely not
the
used
intoxication of fame.
Boy, Poundcake parties. He goes to your show and drinks wine.
Yeah.
to it. And then I had a White Claw.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, like she's
shut your ass up.
She's not used to it. She's used to people talking about me to her, but then when she sees me in person and I'm like smiling, taking it in at the fact that people want to talk to me, she's like,
But she's seen that
"Okay."
before.
Again, at a show event, and it's
Huh.
few and far between. My mom doesn't
Yeah.
really go to events like that.
Yeah, okay. So it was a big night for her.
It was a big night for her.
Yeah.
She loved Mary, and you had me hollering, Mary, because
The anxiety bit?
No, not the anxiety bit about the old people, how they're all dehydrated.
Oh, yeah.
I looked at her mom, I was like, that's you. Whenever you're angry, I'm going to say you need to go drink some water because you will
Yeah, that's you, Mom. You're dehydrated. She's so right.
That's the whole twist, is that it's not Boomer's fault
Uh-huh.
that they're so mean and crotchety. They're just all very dehydrated and their brain's going to fog.
Yeah.
My mom walks around the house with a coffee in her sippy cup. So I'm like, yes, Mom, you need to drink some water. You're dehydrated. And of course, she has a thing for Bill. So she was like, oh, there's Bill. I'm like, yes, they're the headliners. There's Bill, Mom.
Did she think Bill was funnier than me?
She thought you both were equally funny. She didn't say.
She got 2 kids. She knows how to deal with this.
I love you both equally, but differently.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Separate but equal.
No, it was a great show. Thanks to everybody that came out because
so
it was
great.
so much fun.
I
I had a
had
blast.
the worst travel day on Saturday getting there. So to have that show be so fantastic, I really needed that.
It's a good venue.
It's a great venue. It's
beautiful.
beautiful.
That's where I
yeah.
graduated high school. The Lorain County JVS. I hadn't been in that building since then.
You had your convocation at the Lorraine Palace Theater?
For the Lorain County JVS,
Yeah.
yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I hadn't been in that. I forgot how big that was. I was like,
Yeah, I opened for Florentine there like my first year in Cleveland.
I
and
thought
it's
you
a
did that
big venue.
in Campton.
What am I thinking?
I thought you opened for Florentine at the Canton Palace Theater, not the Lorraine.
Oh, is that not where you guys were?
We were.
Oh, you were at the Lorraine
Lorraine
Palace
Palace
Theater.
Theater.
Oh, yeah,
Canton.
you're right.
We'll get
Well,
the
I never.
Canton one of
Then
these
I
days.
don't know if the Lorraine Palace Theater is a nice venue.
It is a nice
It might suck for all I know. I
Looks
haven't
great.
been there.
Beautiful.
You guys have been there.
Yeah.
I can't take your word for it though. I've got to go myself.
Nor would I want you to.
Thank you. Let's check it out for myself. I got to take a break. You want to text 35192, AlanCoxShow.com to watch and listen anywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS. Buzzard Radio.
The Buzzard.
Is Rover.
Keep it clean? No, absolutely not. I want everything in there.
Rock.
Let's go. It's something unpredictable.
Wow.